Hi folks, welcome back. This is Lynn with PFM Arts. Today we are going to continue on this weird adventure that I have going on with this cover that I made a million years ago. And last time we folded the cover around and put in these fly sheets and then the center fabric piece here, which I probably should have waited to do that until after I got done Mod Podging, but I was entirely too excited. So right now I have to, I don't know if you, do you guys hear that? Hear the, I don't know if this is going to work. So we have some very old paints, and some of them are good and some of them are not so good. I'm just bringing out this dollar store cutting board here, and I'm basically just going to use it as a paint palette. So let's start fixing where it cracked. Yeah, that is quite runny. And I'm using a very special makeup brush. So usually I don't use the makeup brushes that come with the makeup themselves. So this is a way that, you know, I can reuse something, and that's, you know, good. So I'm just coming in here. Hopefully this is, oh, this might actually be the exact brown that I used to begin with. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just coming in here and trying to fix these spots where the cracks are. And I have underneath me, instead of my normal mat that I use, I have put on top of it. It's basically butcher paper that I'm pretty sure that I got from the thrift store, because it's kind of waxy on one side and the other side is just regular plain paper. And I'm just going around these edges here and just kind of sprucing this up before I put the Mod Podge on. And actually, I'll probably just rinse out this brush and use it. I'm just kind of blending it in as I go, just so it's not such a stark contrast. This is actually very messy. All right, so I'll just speed this up while I finish this and come right back. Okay, so all of that is done, and what I thought would be nice is if I came back in here with some more metallic paint, and I don't know if I want to use this one or one that looks a little bit more gold, but just to kind of highlight where these pages come together, the papers that I used come together. So I'm going to shake this up and try it. Again, this is really, really old stuff, and I might just get it from the bottle. If I can open up the bottle, I can. Look at me go. Oh yeah, this is not new paint at all. Okay. So I'm going to use what's in the lid here, and I'm using an Artist's Loft brush from Pretty Sure Michaels. This was a number 3 brush. Why did I pick this? Who knows? Okay. So I'm going to have to turn this a little bit and get stuff all over my hands. Okay. So I think I just come in here and highlight where some of the pages come to get the pages. Why do I keep calling it pages? These are paper strips that I'm highlighting. And I'm kind of trying to do this not in a uniform method, but I feel like I'm still doing it in a uniform method. There's an edge right here. And there's an edge right there. Okay, and I get a little bit more paint. It's actually quite a lot of paint. Let's knock some of that off. Okay. All right, I need to do something over here, maybe right here. This is actually kind of difficult to see. I don't know if it's the light that's going on right now, or if I put these papers on too well. Maybe I just put them on too well. Although there are some pieces that are sticking up. Okay. Down here, do some up and downs. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can fill this in a little bit more, and I'll go ahead and put this on fast forward, and I'll be right back. Okay, what do you think? So what I ended up doing was putting some definition on the spine because I thought that looked kind of neat. And then I added some faux, I'm going to call them faux book corners right here and here. I know I said that I was going to try to use these, but I don't think it's going to work. And plus, I don't think the color is quite right, to be perfectly honest. I think this is just too new and shiny, and I don't think it's going to turn out well. Okay, so the next big question is, do I Mod Podge with super gloss or do I Mod Podge with matte? And I'm honestly kind of on the fence about this. I think water-based sealer, glue, and finish over here, or one coat gloss top coat. Cures in 4 weeks. Holy smokes. Okay. What was this one? Hmm. 20 minutes. Okay. I think I'm going to, I was kind of leaning towards the matte anyway. I don't really feel like waiting what does it say? 4 weeks? I don't want to wait an entire 4 weeks to mess with this thing. Okay. So look, another thrift store purchase. Oh boy. So for $1. Very nice. All right. I am going to, acrylic does dry pretty quickly. All right. I'm going to put this on pause. I'm going to rinse out my 2 brushes and I'll be right back. You remember a few minutes ago when I was so excited about this? Well, I decided I would try to open it off camera and I couldn't. So then I had to go seek assistance. My husband's at work, so I had to get my mommy to help me. Tell you what, she's got crazy strength in her hands from all the crocheting that she does. It's a little scary, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, so whoever had this just kind of glooped it up. All right, well, let me go wash my hands from this hook, and I'll be right back again. Sorry. Okay, so I was going to live dangerously and just pour it on my craft mat here, but this thing is not flat, and moreover, it's probably a bad idea. So I have a disposable container that I will probably end up reusing. And I have the same brush I was using before, just washed it out and patted it dry. It's mostly dry now. All right, so let's do some Mod Podging. Here we go. Hopefully this is dried enough. If it hasn't, that's okay. It's just going to streak. And that's okay with me. All right, and since this is going to be super boring, I will fast forward this for you as well. Okay, I was about to flip it. I forgot that I was doing this on camera. Okay, so I have put a thick-ish, I would say, coat of the Mod Podge on here. And I do have some areas where there's a lot of buildup. So let me see if I can get that to spread out a little bit. And as I was doing this, I was trying to pay close attention to where there were divots and holes. Not really holes, but like indents from where I had originally Mod Podged. Mod Podge. That's like the worst thing to say. Just to make sure that I get this top coat on here. And what I tried to go ahead and get the edges, but I also know that I need to get this inside portion as well. So I'm just going to quickly do that, and I will fast forward that as well. I may, now that I think about it, I think I'm probably going to take this to my hair dryer and see if I can get this to dry just a little bit. And then I'm probably going to come to the inside, and since I already put those papers on the inside, I'm probably just going to Mod Podge over the entire thing. Okay, so hair dryer, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've been drying that for probably about 5 minutes now, and it's dry-ish to the touch. So I think I'll be able to go ahead. There's a couple of wet spots you can still see on here, like this where I kind of globbed the glue in there. But I think we're good enough to continue on. So continuing on, as I was saying before I realized that I needed to stop and do something else, is uh-oh, I missed a spot right here. All right, well let's fix that before I Mod Podge. And I'm going to do the super secret method, finger painting. That's right, guys. You don't always have to use a paintbrush. You can just finger paint. And it's perfectly fine. I think I'm just going to Mod Podge over the fabric too. I've never done that. I have no idea how that's going to turn out. Might be okay. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat yelling in the background. Pets are fun, guys. Pets are so much fun. Okay, I think that's good. Let me just check up here. That's glue. What is that right there? I think that's glue too. What is this? Yep, that's my cat. He's great. One of the people that I work with, she named her cat Lucifer, and I think that's an amazing cat name. Also, I love cats. Don't get me wrong. This one's just kind of a pain in the butt, but I do love cats. Okay, so Mod Podging. Again, I'm going to speed this up because this is going to be really boring to watch me do this. And then you don't have to listen to my cat yell either. All right, so speeding up. Okay, I'm going to run back to the hairdryer real quick and get this to dry, and then I'm going to probably come around one more time on just the edges of this book, and we'll see what we got. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So one thing that happened that was not intended is that, I don't know if this is actually picking up or not, but the inside sheet kind of bubbled a little bit, but I honestly kind of like the way it looks because with the Mod Podge on top, it kind of makes it look almost like a snake skin to me, which you guys know, I don't know if I've said that before, but I hate snakes. I hate them so much. But I think it's a neat looking effect, at least on this particular thing. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come along here. Well, the last of the Mod Podging thing is I'm going to come along the top and just make sure that I get the edges sealed down because this is where the wear and tear is actually going to happen. And I'm probably going to glob some glue like right here where the seams aren't exactly perfect. So this is, if you didn't watch the first video, which I will link in the bottom here. If you don't watch the first video, this is the first time that I'm trying this particular technique. So everyone's going to learn from my mistakes to include me. Or maybe some of my unintended happy things. What'd Bob Ross say? They're happy little mistakes. Well, sometimes they're happy little mistakes, but then sometimes they're, oh no, I don't know how to fix this mistakes. But usually everything in the paper craft world either, well, I guess you can just throw it away, especially since it's recycled things like this, or you can just cover it up, which is what I do the majority of the time. And of course I poured out too much glue. Of course I did. I'm just coming around here, doing a little extra glob now and then. This is actually really fun, to be perfectly honest. It's really, really messy. So definitely would recommend protecting your normal crafting space by putting some tin foil or some kind of non-stick something down. Just knocking off some of the extra glue that's on here. Okay. Am I done? I don't think I did this side yet. Let's go ahead and do this. And then back to the hairdryer for a few minutes. And I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. And this is mostly dry, or at least it's dry to the touch. You can see there's a couple of spots up here that aren't quite dry, but it's dry enough for me to go ahead and go on to the next step, which is punching my holes. Now, I had already decided that I wanted to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch in this just because it is a little bit taller than normal. And I think I'm actually trying to decide right now if I want to put in 3 signatures or 4 signatures. And I think I'm going to go with 4 signatures because the paper that I'm using is just regular copy paper. So it's not going to be all that thick and it's not going to create a whole bunch of bulk. I have my Crocodile right here. This is the Crocodile 2 Big Bite. Crocodile 2. We are memory keepers. Well, I thought it said Big Bite somewhere, but it doesn't say. Whatever. It's the Crocodile 2. So I'm going to use the 1/8. Let me turn it around so it's going the proper direction. I'm going to use the 1/8 hole punch, which is just the skinnier version here in the middle. And instead of measuring, I am actually going to use, did you guys know this? I had this thing for so long before I realized what this was for. So it's a guide is what it is. So I know that I want to make my top hole come down probably about, actually let's measure this guy and see how long it is, and then I can figure out where I'm going to put my center hole as well. All right, so this is about 9. This is actually really difficult to read, this ruler. And 7/8. Is that 7/8 or 3/4? Yep, that's 7/8. So 9 7/8. So if I put that at about 5, a hair less than 5, that'll be the center. And I'm going to have it come down probably 1 inch to 5/8 of an inch. So as it stands right here, you can see, I don't know if you can see or not. Let's see if I can turn it this way. It might be easier to see. Yeah, okay. So this is the guide here for the 1/8 inch hole. If I was using the 3/16, I would use the one in the bottom, and then the one in the middle is for the setting itself. So looking over here, I'm going to turn it this way so you can see, since I'm going to use this guide. This is the 1 inch mark here, and I think that's 1/2 inch. We can check that, because actually that would be something that I would like to know as well. So let's check that, what that is. So if I have that guide sitting right there, that's about 5/8, I want to say. You know what? I don't have anything in here to punch. Okay, let's put this here, and then we'll just do a punch. And how far in is that? Let's turn it around 2 inches. So the dead center of that hole is, actually that's at about 5/8. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to do 4 of these holes. And the only thing that I'm really going to have to pay attention to is getting the spacing in here. So that's the edges of my book. I actually like doing it in odd numbers because it's easier. I'm just going to put this in here. And I think, so as I'm punching this, I'm taking the spine and I'm pushing it all the way up to that guide. But I'm also not going to press terribly hard, because I know that if I press hard, it's going to move my guide. Okay, I'm going to slide it over just a little bit. Okay, so there's 1. And let's do 2 right here. And I have to split the difference with this one. I'll do this last hole and then I'll show you what I have. And then this is going to need to be in the middle, and I'm just kind of popping my head down here so I can see what I have going on. All right. So I got this obviously evenly spaced at the top, but not necessarily beside each other. I think, like, that's still okay for me. It's not that bad. I would like to have it spaced a little bit more evenly. So I think I am just going to try to draw out some lines here very quickly so I can get my spacing back on track. All right, so I'm going to fast forward this. Okay, so those little lines are going to help me with the rest of the holes. But since I'm already on the setting that I want for the bottom part, I am going to go ahead and punch those. And as I'm punching this, again, I'm just pressing this up against the guide, but not too hard. And then I'm going to use one of my lines that I made here, kind of like a dot. And I'm going to try my best to get the center of the Crocodile Big Bite on that center line or somewhere close in there. As a matter of fact, I might turn it this way, maybe this way, so I can see a little bit better. Okay, so fast forward this. Okay, so this is spaced out a little bit better, still a little close, but it'll be okay. All right, so the middle holes, I'm going to go ahead and do those next. And we already said that those need to be a little less than 5 inches. So I think I'm going to put it on right about there, a little less than 5 inches. All right, so same thing. Okay, so I'll warn you, as you're looking at this, it looks like you're going in way too far for the center of the book. But remember that this is back a little bit from the actual end of the crocodile, so it's actually not that far in. Okay, here we go. Fast forward. Well, that spacing turned out a little bit better. It's good. Just pull out these from the back. Okay, I'm gonna need to have a pokey tool to get to that. All right, so let's measure the difference between these ones. I'll put that on an inch, and that's about 4. So I'll do this a little bit less than 2 for the rest of these holes. Yeah, that's a little bit less than 2. Okay, fast forward time. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Not fast forward time. What is happening here? Oh, it's because, oh, so you can't measure the different distance between the 2 holes and call that good. That's not going to work. You have to measure the distance from the end and then divide that. That's silly. Okay, so this is at 4.5. Yeah, that's about 4.5. So if I did 2 and a little bit more than 1/4. So that's 2 1/4 right there, but let's do a tad more. Okay, this is going to end up better. I just know it. A little bit more. Yeah, that's good. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. All done. So the great news about these is that they are absolutely just straight across, so no measuring on that part. And usually when I do a 3 signature, which is why I do 3 signatures a lot, it's way easier and I don't have to do any measurements at all because I can just look at the middle and then just punch the holes in the middle. Where is that thing at? There it is. Oh, now it, yeah, it came out. I guess it got scared of the knife and just ran away. Okay, that's convenient. All right, well, let me go grab my papers to put in here, and yeah, let me go grab those. I'll be right back. So here's my papers. I went ahead and counted out 4 signatures of 12 papers. So when I get done folding it, it's going to be obviously front and back. So there's going to be basically 24 pages in each signature, and then 48 pages front and back, so whatever 48 times 4 is, like 200, 8 shy. Yeah, 8 shy. So 192 pages total is what's going to be in this journal. So as I said during the first of the series, this is the second of the series, I didn't really plan for how big this journal was going to be. So now I'm going to have problems fitting in my pages. So I could do that, but I think I should just be able to do this. And they might be a little short. Actually, let me go ahead and fold them and just see what happens. I do have longer paper, but it's not the right color, and I don't want to use just plain white. And I also don't want to take the time to dye any of the long papers. So here we are. Again, this is my prototype that I'm sharing with you. Definitely not necessarily the preferred method of how to do this, but I can definitely give you some pointers on what not to do. What not to do is to not figure out how big you want your book to be to begin with. That's a very good pointer. And considering I've made so many books, I don't know why this didn't occur to me. I think I was just so excited about picking up a project that I hadn't messed with in over a year that I just maybe got a little bit, oh, well, that's surprising. That's almost exact. I mean, by the time that I get done trimming it up, because I think I will trim these up, by the time I get done trimming it up, it's going to be maybe an eighth, of an inch lacking to be where I would normally put it. So that's actually not bad. Okay, so that's what we're going to go with. All right, so I'll just trim this up flush, and then I will make this top and bottom how long. So normally when I'm measuring, move crocodile. So normally when I'm measuring how tall I want my pages, I will just come to the size of the paper that's on the inside and measure it from there. So this one is 9, what is that, 3/4? No, that's a half. That's 9.5. All right, I may make this one a little bit bigger, so maybe 9 and just a smidge more than a half. Okay, I am not going to try to transfer over my cutting mat because that is too much of a pain, to be perfectly honest with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm going to just go ahead and cut these down to size and trim them up, and I'll go ahead and fold the other signatures as well, and we'll come back and sew these bad boys in, and this guy will be done. Okay, so I have cut these down to size and they are fairly decent. Oh yeah, I forgot I said that I was going to try the gilding paste. I wonder if I should do that now. It's probably going to be easier for me to do it now, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so gilding paste, let me grab it real quick. I say I'll grab it real quick. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's over here. What do we have? Silver? Wonder if I did some silver and some gold color. Wonder if that would look neat. You know, I'll just do some of the silver right now. I don't know where my gold is. That's unfortunate. Okay. All right. Let's do a little bit of both. All right. So how is this going to work? I don't know. So I would just put some on my finger. I don't know if that's the recommended method or not. It's probably toxic. I'm going to come in here with my finger. There we go. Put it on the edges of the paper. Oh, it's kind of neat. And then I'll come back over the top of this with some gold. What's that buzz? Okay. Then down here. All right. So looking like this so far. And I'll just come back with a brush and brush off the excess, or maybe I'll probably just use my finger. Let's be honest. Yeah. Okay, it's not bad. Just gives it a little bit of extra cool thing. I wonder if tapping works better. Actually, I think it does. Yeah, and then I don't get those globs. That is better. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this off camera and we can take a look and see what I have. Okay, all done. So I did find out that when I'm doing this, if you're trying to gild pages like I did here, which I kind of like the way that it turned out. It's a little messy, but the book itself is a little messy, so it's fine. So if I fan the edges out, I can get them a little bit better. I wouldn't say like have a more even application because I definitely don't, and I definitely got gilding paste in places where it's not supposed to be per se, but it's okay. It's the first time that I've tried to gild pages. I think it turned out okay. Could have been better, but pretty okay. Did I do this bottom part at all? Yeah, a little bit. Good enough. All right, so it's going to kind of look like that when it's sitting in the book. I'll probably put it in like that. I don't know, it looks kind of neat. It looks like that didn't get any on it at all, hardly. Okay, let me grab the gilding paste again. I'm going to use this instead and see what happens. This is a silver spark. I don't even know if I've used this. Oh, feels a little bit different. I wonder why I bought 2 silvers. Maybe this is something that Mom had and I just stole it. That's possible too. Tapping does have a tendency to work better, or it's working better for me at this particular moment. Okay, good enough. All right. Okay. Probably has a warning on the bottom. Don't get on the skin. Well, so much for that. All right, I'm not going to go wash my hands again for the 1000th time today. All right, just going to roll with it like that. All right, next step is just to punch the holes and then put the paper in the book. And I'll show you how I do the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, just in case you want to know how to do that. But I am going to use the same guide positions that I used before to punch my paper. So I'm just going to kind of turn this inside out. And the reason that I'm doing it like this is so the papers don't go everywhere. I know a lot of people will put clips on the paper, but honestly, when I do that, it seems to make it worse. And it's probably just something that I'm doing. But this is what works for me. So that's that, and it did go through the center there. And since I have this here anyway on this setting, I'm just going to go ahead and punch the rest of these papers, and I'll put me on fast forward. Perfect. Now I'm going to go grab the book that is way off camera, and I'll punch the rest of these holes, and we'll come back and do the pamphlet stitch. Okay, I'm back, and I actually surprisingly found the cording that I was talking about. So I definitely did get this from the thrift store, and it's braiding cords. So this feels basically just like a piece of cording, but it feels like it's got some wax over the top of it. I'm not exactly sure. So I don't know how this is going to work out or even how this is going to tie, but this journal is pretty much an experiment from start to finish. So I've also decided that I'm going to keep this journal for myself because I have made way too many mistakes to give it to someone or put it up for sale. But that's okay. Gotta learn. I think there are very few times when I have done a project for the first time where it's actually turned out right. Like maybe once. Maybe once. So I'm undoing all of these because number one, I don't want that tape to stay on there for very long because it just gets to be a sticky mess, kind of what it is right now. And I think I kind of want to use this, but I don't know if I have enough. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just alternate between that and the black because that straw color looks awful. Yeah, I'll just do that. Okay, so I will reteach myself how to do the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and I will come back and we'll sew the last one in together, or maybe the last 2 in together. I swear I can do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch in my sleep, but every time with the 5-hole, I have to relearn how to do it. It's not like it's that complicated, it's just different. Okay, the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. It did take me 2 or 3 tries to figure it out, but I did it, so I now feel like I can actually talk while I'm doing it. So first off, this braiding cord is actually working out really well, and I still have plenty of the brown left, so I'm just going to continue to use this. This is a wide-eyed, very blunt needle. This is normally the needle. Actually, I have like 3 or 4 of them running around, I think, that I use to sew my signatures in. So if you'll notice, there are some extra holes in here because I forgot to change the guide from the first holes that I did on camera, and I realized that they were off. So I had to repunch them, but that's okay because this is my book and that's fine. So yep, these are definitely directional, and that's where that is actually going to line up. Okay, so just like with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, where you start is where you're going to end up. So by that, I mean I am starting in the back because I want to put the knot in the back. If I wanted to put the knot in the center of the signature, I would have started in the center. But it's the same principle no matter how you do it. Okay, so I'm in the center. I'm going to go up to the first one. Make sure that I'm in the right hole. Yep. Okay. And then I'm going to come to, you turn it to the top in the back. Come on, paper, work with me. The top and the back. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull that. And when I do, you can see all you see in the back right now is the one I started on, and then this first run right here. So I'm going to come back in to that same hole. So this would be, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the second hole, come back into the second one and pull that through. I guess the really good news with this cording is that I don't have to worry about splitting it when I'm bringing it back through because it's thick enough. So now on the back, I'm coming out of the second hole. Yep, coming out of the second hole on the back. I'm going to skip the third hole in the middle, and I'm going to go down to the 4th hole at the bottom. So I'm going to come through here. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. I'm going to pull that through. Okay, that's looking good. And then I'm going to come through the 5th hole. Am I in the right one? Yep. Come through the 5th one. And then on the back, having to turn my hand really weird. On the back, oh, I think my camera's dying. I'm going to come through this 4th hole here. Come back through the 4th hole, and then you're going to go out the middle hole, like so. And just like when you're doing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you're going to put one piece of the string or cording, whatever you're using, on one side, and then the other piece on the other side. And I think my camera's going to die. So I'm going to finish this up. I'll take a picture, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.